Straight from the edge, it's time for some daytime drama. So over on Y&R, you have Abby. Obviously, he's dumped Arturo, and he's trying to make it up to her a little bit. He goes all out at Dark Horse Towers and puts red rose petals on the ground outside the conference room, and I don't know, there's probably I don't know, 3 or 4 vases full of roses on the table, and so she comes in and she's smelling them. She doesn't know they're for her or from him yet, and he of course comes in the room and makes a play for getting back in her good graces, and she's having none of it. I mean, rightly so. He's cheated on her, and he had professed his love after cheating on him within 24 hours, and then had proposed to her during Ray and Mia's renewal of their vows, which she claimed was he was actually in love with Mia, so not her. And he's professing his love and trying to really say, you've shown me what it's like to essentially be in a real relationship and have real love, and he wants a second chance with her, and he almost gets her for a second, and then she starts laughing at him and saying, really, you think I'm that foolish? I mean, there's just no way that this is gonna happen. And he's still saying, I'm gonna prove it to you. And you know, even though he said, my poor innocent truck, you know, he doesn't feel bad about that happening, I guess, because she needed to get out what he had done, I guess. But anyway, as far as JT being awake, Victoria is at home, and she's having a nightmare of JT in the house and hitting the wall again, and having the other side of him trying to say, that wasn't me. And so she's seeing the two sides of JT in her head, and she wakes up, and Reed somehow had gotten there, and he's saying, wake up, Mom, you know, and he's worried about her, and he's trying to say, well, what were you dreaming about? And she's going into what her fears are about all of this, and you know, he's upset because he hasn't been talked to about it yet. He had to, it seems like he learned it from online and from Billy, and got him on a plane flight out there. So you know, they're gonna head down to the hospital to talk to JT because he'd asked to see Reed. And Reed comes in, you know, he gets some time alone with his dad, and then of course the police come to arrest JT because he's good enough to go to the infirmary at the jail or prison or whatever, until he can be on trial. And of course Reed just trying to like stop all this, saying he had a tumor and all this, but of course, JT's trying to take responsibility for the actions he took while he had the tumor, and he's telling his son to stand down, you know, and let this happen the right way so that he can make amends. So Kyle and Summer are starting to really connect a little bit more, and he does say to her, you know, we need to tell the rest of the family about the fact that you donated the liver, and because his dad already knows, and Lola's family knows, and so he says that, Summer, you gotta tell your family. So the first place they head over to is to talk to Nick, and so Nick notices that she's kind of struggling walking in, and he's worried about his daughter, and kind of like, are you okay? And so they're kind of trying to like sit everyone down and go over, you know, what she'd done with Kyle, and Kyle is backing up everything that he's trying to put her in the most positive light, because that is his wife, and she has done this great thing for Lola. And so of course Nick is watching this, and he's most concerned over the fact that he didn't even know about this surgery, and something could have drastically happened to his daughter. So he's obviously holding in and being upset, but he does want to hear what Kyle has to say for himself, as far as, you know, he doesn't want his daughter to be collateral damage with this whole thing and him abandon her. And so he makes Summer go pack some things, and they say, you know, call us if you need help. But he reinforces it with Kyle. He's like, if you break her heart, I'm coming after you like no other. So, and he's like, I understand, sir. And it was a good little scene there. So Abby continues to, you know, use all this energy from the breakup. She's trying to coalesce getting the restaurant going and getting her, you know, extra workers and stuff like that. And so she does go talk to Nick at Dark Horse, and, you know, says that she's gonna have to quit, and she really enjoyed getting it up and running and on the, you know, going, I guess, as far as Dark Horse, and she's not really needed there, she thinks, anymore, and she wants to focus all her time on the restaurant. And so she says, you know, essentially, thanks for everything. And he tries to say, is there anything I can do to convince you? But he understands. He wanted to know what she's up to and about the restaurant and everything. And so she parts there from that business venture, and she heads on over to talk to Lola, who is at Ray's apartment now. And she brings some, I guess, some bone broth soup. And of course, Lola knows exactly what it is and says that's great to heal from. And so she says, you know, you were out for a month, but she never wanted to move on to anyone else. And she'd even kind of done a little tug of war with, getting it going while she was gone. And so Lola, you know, she's recovering, and she is freshly broken up, obviously, with Kyle, and so is Abby, and so they both have this energy to, like, do something with their time to be constructive for the future. And Lola's like, I'm aboard totally. And hopefully they kind of ease into it. You know, you don't want to hurt her recovery, and same thing with Summer, hurting her recovery, doing too much. But they seem very excited about getting it going, and it should be a fun thing going forward. So Billy and Phyllis are both talking about this Kerry has hired somebody without their knowledge as an intern or something like that, and they're getting mail in at Jabot, and basically they don't like that they've been superseded on this, and they're trying to get to the bottom of it. Well, of course, Billy he snags some mail that's headed to this intern, and turns out it's actually Kerry. Kerry is the intern. So she has been a triple agent, I guess, in all this, and he passes the information along to his brother, and Jack, of course, invites her over a nice bottle of wine, and he's going to try to get to the bottom of, is she really doing all of this? And he has the paperwork, and they basically had put patents through her and, well, her accomplice, and so Jabot can't actually file them because they're already existing patents. And so they're about ready to launch all these products, and so they've been sabotaged by Kerry. And so an emergency board meeting is called from an unknown number, and so everyone's starting to head there, and a few of them aren't going to make it because Kyle's talking to Nick, and Abby is talking to Lola. And so the people that do get up there, you know, they're trying to figure out, well, who called this? This wasn't something that they had known about. Well, of course, Ashley makes a grand entrance and basically says that she orchestrated this whole thing, and, you know, she's taken over. That's coming up. So, over on GH, Dante is certainly spiraling out, and he knows there's something really wrong with him, and he ends up talking to Anna about, you know, what he could possibly do, and she recommends some place in Europe, seems like it's Britain or something, and to deal with if there was some kind of brainwashing or hypnosis done on him. And so he's realizing that his trip was very short back to Port Charles, and he's telling Lulu that he has to go, and Lulu's like, just no, we can deal with this here, and she's saying, like, our love, you know, we can overcome any of this, and he's thinking that he's might hurt her, and so he wants to leave, and he hasn't told her that, but she's just, you know, devastated. There's just so much emotion there. The two characters haven't seen each other for, I don't know, about 6 to 9 months, and they just really want to be together, but he needs to deal with this so they can move on. So Willow was trying to leave, and she was talking with Brad and telling him that she was going to leave, and she wanted to hold Wiley one last time before she left. She thought that the next time she'd see him was when he's 18. So there's a brochure from Donna Day that falls out of Brad's briefcase or whatever, and she sees it and, you know, starts getting concerned and realizes that she can't leave. She, you know, hands the baby back, and she ends up talking to Chase and says, you know, she's gonna stay, and he's just glad that she's actually gonna fight this, and you know, he wants to give support but not be overbearing, and she says she wants to do this on her own, but he's gonna have her back, so it's gonna work out really nice going forward. And of course, Elizabeth is trying to get in contact with her as well about her kid, and so she's talking to her saying, I'm staying. And of course, you got Nina and Valentine watching, thinking, oh, she's telling her that she's leaving and everything, and then Willow walks over, and this is at Kelly's, and they're thinking that she's gonna say she's leaving, and then she's like, no, I'm staying, and they're just like completely stunned, and Valentine is like, well, we're not going back to the way we were before, you know, you'd said this towards my wife, and you know, Willow probably have to deal with this, but probably not going to be a big thing, and it was still worth it to tell off Nina about you know, how involved she is improperly in Charlotte's life. A little out of her bounds of what she should have done, but I don't know, it was fun. So Laura and Carly are trying to catch up a little bit on all this shenanigans that have been going on with Kevin, and Kevin is saying he's willing to divorce Laura so that she can come out unscathed with this, because of course she's mayor of the city, and Laura saying, no, I've never done anything the way everyone tells me to do it. I'm standing by you. And Carly's listening to all of this, and they're obviously concerned about Kevin, and you know, just trying to deal with it all in the right way, but knowing what Ryan had done and stuff like that. So Sasha nearly confessed to Nina that she was not her daughter, and she was just right on the edge, and you know, it'd be nice if she actually can get it across to her before it comes out that she's not. So you had Maxie and Peter going to get the DNA results of that test, and so who knows if Valentine actually tampered with it. We don't know at this point, but of course Lisa Obrecht bumped into him, and was curious what they're up to, and they knew that she went straight to Valentine, and she did. And so trying to give a heads up that this is coming his way, maybe, even though I don't think we actually know whether he got to Brad to fake the results. But anyway, it's just a pleasure to see Ulbrecht. You know, she's so much fun on the show. So over on Bold, Quinn had to do a apology to Sally, and she did a half-assed job at it. But Wyatt, you know, tried to hold her feet to the fire, let her know that Sally was his woman and that he wasn't having any of that. So of course Flo and Quinn left, and Sally was trying to get across her new opportunity that she got at Forrester. So he's of course kind of, well, we'd made all these plans, you're coming over to Spencer, and you know, we're gonna build this from the ground up, and it was gonna be us together, and we're gonna get to spend all this time together. And he's starting to understand, though, this is a great opportunity for her. And of course over at Forrester, everything's up and running, you know, worldwide to implement this athletic wear and the new opportunity that they offered her. So he kind of realizes, you know, the only thing that matters to me is you, and wherever, you know, you need to be. Basically, they kind of shelved the whole opportunity at Spencer for the time being. We'll see what kind of goes forward with what Bill thinks, all that. But so Bill and Katie, they're getting set up on another blind date with each other. And so it's not clear at this point if you know, it's her sister Donna setting her up, or maybe Justin is doing a little bit of it, and even, you know, Will might be trying to set his parents up to get them back together again. But you know, time's gonna tell on that. But they had a good time getting together, and yeah. So Quinn takes Flo over to Il Giardino's, and she's trying to reconnect to her. So this might, you know, lead into some problems for Sally and Wyatt. But Flo, hopefully, you know, she's got some good moral compass on her, so she's hopefully not going to try to interfere with that. But anyway, looks like there's about another 100 drops out there, so keep researching.